Joseph Wu first started paper folding when he was about 3 years old. He kept it as a hobby through his science studies at UBC, and today he is a world-class origami artist whose intricate works have been featured at international art shows and have won him clients like Volkswagen and the New York Times. He has even designed full paper costumes and sets for the stage. It is my pleasure to welcome Joseph Wu to Studio 4 to show and tell us more.
Thanks, Fanny.
Well, 3 years old.
Yeah, about that.
Mm-hmm. Not eating paper, folding it.
Well, I mean, it was so long ago, I'm not sure I did anything worth keeping. Obviously, I don't have anything left from there, but that is when I started.
Who inspired you? What inspired you?
Well, my dad said that he was trying to find something to keep me busy. So he brought home a book one day, and that's how it all started.
A book by whom?
By Akira Yoshizawa, who is considered to be the grandmaster of origami.
Really? The innovator of all time, perhaps?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, before him, origami was really considered just a children's pastime, passed down from mother to child over the generations. Okay. And he started designing new things.
And what does it mean, origami?
Origami, from the Japanese, two words, oru, to fold, and kami, to fold. Sorry, paper.
Paper.
So to fold paper, exactly.
Simple. Now, when you start to play an instrument, you learn something like Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star.
Yes.
When you start to, is it practice origami or create origami?
Hard to say. I don't know. I usually just say fold, but...
Okay, fold. When you start to fold paper, what's really easy? What would be something really easy for a beginner?
Well, there's a very simple little duck that I usually teach for the first thing I ever teach someone. Do you want to try one?
Do I? No. Off camera.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, it's the simplest little duck, really. It takes a few seconds to do.
Would you do it?
I'll do that right now.
Okay. And can you do it while you're talking?
Of course I can.
You can? Well, you see, I couldn't do that. So you make a duck,
and we'll just chat away. I can walk and chew gum at the same time, too.
You see? Is it an obsession for you, a bread and butter living, a what?
Both of those, actually. People always ask if I'm a very patient person, and I say, no, I'm just obsessed.
That's good.
I fold paper everywhere. I used to get in trouble in school. I used to get in trouble at church when I was a boy. It happens all the time, everywhere. Wherever I am, I usually have a piece of paper, and I'm usually folding.
And a particular piece of paper, there must be some rules, right? Certain size or certain type of paper, certain something, what? Look at you.
There it is. That's the simplest little duck.
See, I can make an airplane. That's about,
this
I think
is easier
everybody
than an
can
airplane.
do that.
This is easier than an airplane. You sure you don't want to try?
Well, not yet, but I'll practice off air. But, you know, an airplane that flies, that's, you know, you have to add a few twists and turns. And I can make ruder things, but we won't talk about those here.
Fair enough, although there are several books devoted to those sorts of things.
I bet there are. So back to you. Your most magnificent work, in your opinion, or in somebody else's opinion, big prize winner.
That's always hard, because personally anyway, as I come up with new designs, that's my current favorite, because it's the latest, greatest thing. But in terms of things that I'm known for, dragons, a lot of dragons.
Yes.
And I've got a giant sculpture next door at Oru Restaurant. You
do? At Oru? Really? Oh, I saw it.
Did you see it?
I didn't know that was yours. Yes, magnificent.
Yes, it's 180 feet long, the biggest thing I've ever made.
Wow. Do you do an outline before, or you just free flow? How does it work?
That one was strange.
I'm sure.
They wanted something organic, so it is mostly freeform. It starts with a grid, but then after the grid is put into place, then the actual shaping is very, very freeform.
Okay. But you have a menagerie in your basement, I read. A little paper zoo in the basement. Are some of these creatures from the basement?
Yes, these are definitely some of the things from the basement. This is the latest and greatest. This is a pelican in flight. And it's, I'm still trying to tweak it a little bit. A few things that I'm not quite happy with yet.
Well, it looks perfect to me.
Well, thank you.
The pelican flight, but then I'm not a judge.
That's the next iteration as I'm working on it. Not quite there yet, obviously. But that sort of gives you an idea of all of the layers that are involved when you do this.
Oh, my. Oh my, and that's one, now let me get this right.
So it's one square sheet of paper.
One square sheet of paper, but is it brown on one side and white on the other? Let me get this.
Exactly right.
Okay, so that's allowed.
Yes, and well, I mean, the rules are, they're more guidelines than rules.
Okay.
There are no origami police, as we're fond of saying in the community, but the most rigid structure would be a single piece of paper, square, no cutting, no glue.
No cutting, no glue, and this bull is magnificent.
Thank you.
He looks Spanish.
He is Spanish. This one was from my recent trip to Seville. I was actually the invited guest at the Spanish Origami Convention there this past year. And I managed to catch a bit of a bullfight, and that's what came out of it.
Imagine when all of you origami, not nuts, I'm not going to say nuts, origami passionate people get together.
Nuts is pretty close, actually.
How long would it take you to make a rabbit? It is the year of the rabbit.
A rabbit would take a few minutes, 5 minutes maybe.
That long, eh?
Should I get started?
Get started.
Okay.
Can you talk while you're making a rabbit too?
Oh yes, of course.
That's so great. And if you don't get the rabbit finished, you can stay after and we'll buy you a coffee.
I'm sure you'd want to keep this.
It doesn't matter.
And you're welcome to.
So it's mostly Japanese influenced, or is there origami in China? Is there a
one
contingent?
of those things that is really unclear, to be honest. Paper was invented around the 1st century, and it's been around for 2,000 years. But the written records of origami only go back about 300 or 400 years. So there's a huge gap of time where paper was around and there's no record of people folding it. But I don't know about you, but it's very natural for me to assume that somebody was folding something.
I would think.
So we believe that origami started probably in each country. As they got paper, people started playing with it. And there are hints that each country has its own tradition of paper folding. And today we sort of merge them all together and call them by the Japanese name because that's the best known. But really, it's quite international.
Can you use foil?
Yes,
paper?
Sometimes. There's a sheet of it here. I tend not to. The problem with foil is that it's very unforgiving. Once you make a crease, it's there. And it's always
like when
visible.
you're wrapping a Christmas present, same.
Yes. You miswrap it and you've got this horrible looking line through it, and that's why I don't like foil.
Okay.
But it is possible.
Now you have a young son, Michael.
Yes.
Does he fold paper?
No, not really.
How old is he?
He's 6. He's learned a few things from me, but unfortunately it's much easier for him to just say, "Daddy, make me a whatever."
I'm sure. I'm sure.
And since I'm always folding anyway, I'm glad to oblige. So I suppose if I don't make things for him, maybe he'll want to learn more.
Of course he will, and one day he'll just be proud of you, and that's okay too, because whether you're an origami expert or a hockey player, you have to let your child do what he's called to do.
Well, in that case, he wants to be the first Chinese-Canadian totem pole carver in the world.
Really? What a good idea. So he's artistic.
He is.
Obviously.
He's very artistic.
Does a 3-year-old have the manual dexterity it takes to do this, or a 6-year-old? At what point?
When I teach in a classroom setting, I usually say ages 6 and up. There are always exceptions, of course, but on average, I'd say 6 is probably when kids have the manual dexterity to be able to do the sorts of things they need to do.
What's the most difficult thing to make? A whale, an orca, a cell phone? Because you make cell phones, too.
I have made cell phones,
right?
Yes. Although an iPhone would be much easier. But the one I did was an old Motorola back in the day.
For a client?
Yes, for a client. Back in when cell phones were much, much bigger.
Yes, and weighed a lot more.
Yes.
So when a client calls you, New York Times calls, or a vodka distiller calls, what do they usually want?
It really depends on what the ad's about, and I never know. A recent one was for Subaru Canada, and I had to do an entire winter scene with skiers and snowboarders and the car, of course.
Right.
And so that's. I hope I haven't jumped the gun. It should be out already, but I'm not absolutely certain of that.
We don't want you to lose the contract next time.
I've been paid.
Okay, so go ahead and talk about it.
Yes.
Is that rabbit?
There's Bunny.
My gosh,
for
look
Chinese
at
New
you.
Year.
Gung hei fat choi.
Gong hei fat choi.
Going hei fat choi. How nice to meet you.
It's my pleasure.
Lovely work. This is magnificent. A cat.
Yes, a cat.
A cat.
T-Rex, which is always a crowd pleaser.
Oh.
And this is a scarlet macaw.
Of course it is.
Which was actually, I ran a contest on my Facebook page recently, and the winner got to choose something for me to make.
Well, I know you're a professional geek, too. You do have a degree in science and computers and all of that. How nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Joseph Wu. And tomorrow, Juno Award-winning musician, chef, and Food Network TV host Roger Mooking offers exotic ways to spice up classic recipes. And what you need to know about protecting your heart. A leading investigator in the area of cardiac health joins us to talk about the latest research on heart disease. Plus, fitness trainer Oswaldo Koch helps get us back on our New Year's resolutions track. Thanks for watching Studio 4. There will be lots more on Shaw TV, only on Shaw TV.